monetary order is breaking down.
Gold and silver.
Gold and silver, as if they needed it, getting a boost again.
Silver by far is leading the pack.
So is there going to be a big de-dollarization?
Status as the world's reserve currency could finally be coming to an end.
And cue the fire. The demand for silver is currently breaking the system. And yesterday I said, you watched that short squeeze, and all of a sudden we got squeezed. So much so that if you were trading the futures market, you're like, well, it's not moving. That's because prices went above 10% like that. Futures says it's not going to happen. This was currently on TFEX. I think COMEX was just fine. Well, I mean, minus they don't actually have anything. Trades were going through. You guys were sending me emails, your queues. Look at that. What happened? Guess the NASDAQ is just preparing you for the end of life. Talking about the end of life, I actually had Peter on. He's on right now. It'll actually look like this when he's on, and you'll go, oh, hey, look, I know that guy. Peter and I go back probably 6 or 7 years. But he is saying that the normies have no idea what is about to hit them, and we're talking economic crisis. So I say, you show me that. So I asked him, what does this economic crisis look like, Peter, in less than 1 minute, because you can talk. He said, well, first you're going to lose your dollar reserve currency, or we're losing it. And then a market gets thrown into the pit of hell. And I mean, I added that. I'm going to say that I am nervous about what is currently happening, because you shouldn't have the most valuable asset in the world acting like it's a meme coin, going completely parabolic straight up. It's like you getting pulled over by the cops. This is how nervous, you know? You're fine. Or I'll use me as an example. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm fine. Well, I mean, except that I am within 15 feet of a school. Okay, so that's probably not a good idea. And I just drank some alcohol. When I say some alcohol, I meant like I finished the entire bottle of Casamigos and then I washed it down with just, I mean, I didn't empty it. I mean, there's still some left in the VUV. I basically feel like Meet Kevin, and I'm nervous. And that's what I feel like is going on. So I love you, Kevin. But this is what I feel about our monetary system. And no one sees it, but it's big. I know you're really excited that you're very rich right now. Peter will actually explain that, but it gets even worse. Now, I thought it would cool down. Cramer just posted, and that's this guy, by the way. So Jimmy has something on he spilt something on his tie. He says, I am a huge gold bug, but I am not. Like, why? Why would you say that? As if you don't want everyone to hate you. Not a silver bug. If there were no sentimental value to it, I would try to cash in on my family silver. It is getting ridiculous. Sell, sell, sell. Thank you for that, Jim. And off the chart silver goes. It like flew over 10%. 11, bro. You ever gonna? Now people are taking some profit. Breaking news. These are some crazy times that we live in. Even when the banks, the World Bank president, well, not until usually they step down. They're like, okay, now I'll tell you how it is. Then they start sounding the alarm on global economic risk, recession, debt crisis, slowing growth, and the end of the world. But let's listen in to David. That's
yeah, it's worrisome. You know, the Fed basically has become now just a giant hedge fund. It's lost $1 trillion, you know, and counting. It's going to be a gigantic loss. What it does is borrows money at 5.4% from banks and then dumps it into government bonds. So think what that trade does. That causes the government to think that it's better off than it is. And so that encouraged the government to be short when rates were zero. So why did the government, borrow so much in T-bills?
I'm sorry if you saw my face. I couldn't do it anymore. I don't think he knows anything. That is not how the Fed works. The Fed creates a reserve asset, and it's on the Fed's balance sheet. I know, big deal. Then swaps the bond purchase that your bank did, but it actually started at the Treasury, and it ends up on their balance sheet, the Fed's balance sheet. That's it. It does not leave the system. Not inflationary, not deflationary. It's just you create one and you move it over there. That's it. They don't print money, which you just hear all day long. Oh, the Fed's printing money, inflation. They just create a reserve asset. That's it. Actually, I lied. What does leave the system that could be inflationary is the interest, also known as new money created. Whatever the banks want to do with that interest, okay. you can have that. Now, on the other side, the Treasury, who creates money out of thin air, that your bank then buys that Treasury. Are you tracking? If not, it's okay. You don't even need this stuff. But that beginning part, if they use it to give to people, becomes inflationary. Oh, and hey, Squawk Box, why don't you guys have me on? I'll tell you how the system works. And CNBC's had my kids all over their channel. So where did you learn all this information? My father. Oh, okay. Also, my information that I give you, and if you would like, I could be wrong. I'll correct myself. But maybe consider subscribing to kind of balancing maybe CNN or CNBC. A lot of times I shoot my foot off because people are like, that's not how it works. I went to college. Okay, let's just stop there. When I went to college, received information from the professor and the textbooks. Anywho, CNN and other news medias are so clueless. Tell me, Wall Street math. I actually have a coin. Look at this. This is the way. So please show us the way. Gold is not rising because of Trump. It is rising because we have 40 trillion in debt, 25%. Okay. And I actually posed this question to Peter. I said, why? Why all of a sudden? Because I don't have the answer. He said to Trump, I'm like, okay. Or if it was a South Park episode, it would be, okay, this is why silver went up, okay. My explanation is always like, well, the charts told you. Even if you were to zoom in, I trade on the 2-minute, this is on the 15-minute, like a snapshot. This is today, I'll explain it. You had a beat down, and then you have one candle close, and then you ride it up, 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 up. It goes purple. Like it's whatever, if it pulls like that purple, it's gonna pull the other way, like a rubber band, like in my head. That's why I create it that way, so it looks like a rubber band, but I mean, a rubber band's really not going to zing down the same amount. Today it opened. What did it go up to? 7. You guys put on 7 now. And then my indicator goes, it's going to stop right there at that purple line. To me, this is a healthy market. It goes up, and then you close, you short it on the way down at purple, it should bounce. You ain't bouncing, and you're probably going to hit, well, by the time filming this, you're at 103, and see, it keeps moving. You'll probably drop down to 99, 100. If you're trading this after hours, which while you're watching this would be futures, when the market's closed, this is going to be a sweet swing trade. Well, that would be on the way up. And if you want to learn how to swing it up, I have a new course on it. $1 million AI, beginning to everything, trading on auto, step by step, perfect for lazy traders. That one's $299, currently on sale, and then my futures course is $199. That was the course I did prior because I trade futures. See the weird digits up there? So while I listen to these guys blab their mouth as if that's going to do anything, I click buttons on a screen. I do agree with what people say. Yeah, the news media, they're clueless. Check. Gold is not rising because of Trump. Check. Although he did tell you to buy it, silver is the most undervalued asset on the planet. It's been money for all of human history. There you go, boy. Let's get some of this. And yet here it sits at 1650. Yeah, you missed it by 1 digit. That's because he posted this. It was a few years ago when I said, hey, guys, while this asset, this stuff, it's cheap, buy it. When the cheap goes up and you double your money, you sell it. But then I did that and you said, you're stupid. No, I bought an asset with it, and I'm still between 0 and 1%, closer to 0% of all the silver I have. More than everyone in the world. From now on, I'll just take loans against it. It's okay. He said this in 2017. And you guys know, your wives know too, all of us that have stacked forever. It's almost a decade. We're like, come on, little buddy. It reminds me of that meme, right? The guy's poking it. Come on, buddy, just do something. Well, there you go. It just took your face off. We are now living in a time. Remember, you'd hear this mantra all the time. Make sure 1% of your portfolio is gold and silver. Thank you. Now they're like, no. Bank of America recommends 30% allocation to gold and silver. Quote, silver is the amplified gold. I actually fact checked that one. Remember how they're like, yeah, 50% bonds? Those are doing really good, by the way. 50% stonk? Oh, hold on. Okay, if you want to shave off 1% on each side, do 1% Bitcoin and 1% gold. Now all the economists, Bank of America, they're all wrong. You're wrong. Oh, and breaking news, talking about banks, since I'm currently filming in one. You like that? Go over to Peter's studio. I come here. Goldman's top precious metals trader. Okay, how'd you do? Leaves bank from Bloomberg. Sorry, Benjamin. I'm just going to go on a limb here and say you were probably fired. I don't know. I just know as a trader, sometimes pride comes before the fall and you go short and it keeps going and you're like, you add your position. You're like, I know it's different this time. It's going to pull back and you keep adding to your wrong. And feel free to contact me. We talk about this to get you on the show, but that is why we have stop losses. All right. So before I go to the interview, it's a great interview. Guys, remember, the system where they create stuff and you lose your purchasing power, if you save in gold, in silver, in assets, you'll be okay. I mean, look at your dollar purchasing power, historical decline. Yeah, and this is 0 point. It's going to zero. With that, let's head over to Peter. Guys, so I got Peter here. He comes on all the time. We're good friends. He just posted something on his X account. The economic crisis that is about to hit. Peter, you're up.
Well, that's what gold and silver are foretelling. It's really a remonetization of gold and to an extent silver because it's highly correlated with gold. But central banks are moving away from dollar reserves and accumulating gold reserves. And it's really a monetary reset. I think the dollar is going to lose its status as the reserve currency. And that is a game changer for America because we can no longer live beyond our means. We can't just print money and use that to buy all the stuff that we don't make. We won't be able to borrow a lot of money unless we also save a lot of money. And that means the U.S. government's going to have to cut back dramatically on its spending. That means households are going to have to cut back on their spending. And everything that we buy is going to cost a lot more. And if we borrow money, well, that's going to cost a lot more. So interest rates are going way up, consumer prices are going way up, and the standard of living is going way down. And that is the warning that, gold and silver are giving you an early warning of what's about to happen. It's just that most people, even professional investors or people at the Federal Reserve, they don't recognize the warning because they don't understand the problem. And so to them, it's just, a bubble or something. They don't know. It's just an interesting thing that, hey, God, I could have made some money if I had bought some gold. But they don't understand the broader picture of what is actually happening here, right? Just like when the subprime market blew up in 2007, they didn't realize that a financial crisis was coming in 2008. I did. I warned them about it, but they ignored me.
Okay, why now? Why all of a sudden? Now, I told my audience, Jamie Dimon Chase really moved their position from short to long last year at the end, October, November, December. But silver, I mean, look at this. This almost looks like a short squeeze. I feel like I'm trading a meme stock. It's up 14% right now. Why, like in the last 2 months, has this thing just gone parabolic?
Well, I mean, you can try to guess after the fact why, I think a catalyst was Donald Trump escalating the trade war, going into Venezuela, but maybe even more important, the threats to invade Greenland and just all this, how the U.S. is going to, do whatever it wants and pursue its own self-interest, screw the rest of the world. We don't have to be peaceful. We just take what we want and we can do it because we're the most powerful nation. We're the most important. We have the biggest military. And I think that not only pisses a lot of people off, but causes a lot of people to want out of the dollar and to want an alternative just to take the U.S. down a peg. If we're going to, exploit the advantage and the exorbitant privilege that the world gives us, then maybe the world will withdraw that privilege. And that's, so that might be a catalyst to speed up this process, but I think it's underway and there's no reversing it at this point. The dollar's done as the reserve. It's just a question of, how long until it's finally buried.
Last year we talked and we were talking about $100 silver. And I when I saw this move going, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And he said, don't celebrate too early. Well, I think we could celebrate.
Well, I said don't sell too early. You can start celebrating. Although the thing is, I mean, celebration. I mean, I don't like to celebrate what's happening because I understand it. And so I understand that what's happening in gold and silver, even though I am making a tremendous amount of money, I made more money last year than I've ever made in 1 year of my life. And I'm probably going to make even more this year. So personally, it's financially rewarding. And there's a degree of satisfaction that comes with being vindicated. And I think there's a lot more vindication coming. So I think I'm going to have that satisfaction. I understand that what is going to be happening to the vast majority of Americans is not going to be good, right? And so it's not a reason to celebrate. In fact, had I had my druthers, there would be nothing to celebrate because we would not have pursued these reckless monetary and fiscal policies. You know, I have been advocating for the correct policies the entire time. I have been positioned for the incorrect ones. So even though I've been long gold and silver and out of the U.S. market, I haven't encouraged the Fed to keep on printing money and cutting interest rates and doing all the things that are making me rich. I advocated for the government to do the opposite of what was in my self-interest because I was more concerned about the interests of the country. But if I know the country is in for an economic collapse, why wouldn't I at least try to profit from that personally? And why wouldn't I at least try to help as many Americans who might otherwise have suffered to profit too, right? So that's what I've been doing. But I caution my clients, hey, don't go out and celebrate because a lot of your fellow Americans are going to be broke.
Within like 1 minute, if you could just summarize this for my audience, what does an economic crisis look like for the average Joe and Jane?
Oh, I mean, for a lot of them could be unemployed. But everybody, whether you're employed or not, you're going to see a big increase in your cost of living. Prices are going to go up a lot more than what we saw, under Biden. I mean, that's nothing compared to what's coming. So big increases in the price of just about everything, mostly goods. Service prices won't be impacted as much as goods. But also interest rates are going to be a lot higher and credit is going to be a lot scarcer. So it's going to be harder for people to borrow money to buy things. But whatever they do buy is going to be a lot more expensive. A lot of unemployed people and a lot of people doing without things. And depending on what the government does, if we end up with price controls, for example, we're going to have shortages. So it's not just going to be that prices are a lot higher. The merchandise is just not even going to be available to you.
Words, advice to my audience from the great Peter Schiff.
Well, don't think it's too late to buy gold because it's over $5,000. You can still buy it. You can still buy silver. I mean, you got to be prepared for some volatility. I mean, you could easily buy silver at $114 an ounce and it could be back at 90. So you almost can't buy it if you're not willing to, to ride that out. Now, one way you can mitigate that is just buy some, don't buy it all at once, average in. But I think the best opportunity really is in the mining stocks, even though, they've gone up dramatically. They haven't gone up dramatically enough compared to how much their profits have improved based on where gold and silver are currently trading. And even if we get a big pullback in gold and silver, the mining stocks are still cheap because they haven't even factored in prices that are half of the current price when it comes to silver, for sure. Gold, maybe they're looking at, $2,500, $3,000 gold. Hard to say. But I don't think we're even priced for $50 silver. And silver is $114. So buy the mining stocks, I got a gold fund, the Euro Pacific Gold Fund, EPGIX is the no load symbol. You can also go to my website at europac.com, get information on all of our separately managed accounts, some of them focused on the mining sector. Money is going to be made outside the United States now. That's going to be the case, I think, for many, many years to come. So people should get in touch with us at Euro Pacific Asset Management. And to buy your gold, silver, go to Schiff Gold. And again, silver, you got to hurry up because we could run out. That's going to be the big problem with silver is lack of inventory.
Peter, thank you so much for jumping on such short notice. We'll do this again, and you guys go ahead and check out his stuff.